tequila, vodka. Which one helps Luis forget? We might find out, and I don't know about that with Jim Jefferies. Or you could just answer the question right now.
Vodka.
I heard you got blackout drunk the other night. You went to a brewery, and then afterwards you went to another bar.
It was after his birthday recording. He got wrecked.
You got wrecked, I heard. What happened?
I mean, I was saying the last thing I remember saying, yeah, it takes a lot for me to get drunk. I like never get drunk. And then I wake up and then my dad's like, yep, threw up or fucking stepped on your throw up in the morning.
Oh, God. What a mess.
You guys were sleeping in the same toilet, were you?
No, if you had never listened to our podcast before and that was the first one you heard, you'd be like, well, that's a bit racist. And you'd be like, which one gets Luis drunk? Yeah.
No, I could just see tequila sitting tequila and vodka bottles are literally sitting in front of him.
No.
I picked things in the room. It was either that or Gatorade. He has a Gatorade drink.
I meant if you didn't know who Luis was. You were just saying a random Luis.
Yeah, but we do know who Luis is. And
I do know that I bought Luis probably 3 shots and I left way earlier than the party ended.
Yeah.
So
I was fine then.
I bought him a cake.
yeah, I made him a cake.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm a better friend.
Have you been drunk since then?
No, I think that was the last time, but this was actually my first.
But I mean, that was just Monday. It's Thursday.
Yeah, 3 days ago.
I always just, if I got drunk, I'd have to get drunk a few days in succession because it's like, well,
You might as well lean in.
yeah. It's like
This is me now.
Get rid of the shakes.
I did 3 nights in a row, but that was my last one.
Wow.
Oh, that was your last one. Celebrating your height. How old did you turn?
29.
Fucking hell, that alcohol's rough, isn't it? Can age you up.
You're 29?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You look great.
Yeah. You can do it by counting the crow's feet.
Like that off-air Forrest was nice. He's like, hey, you lost weight, huh? But as soon as the mics and the cameras turn on, no, it look fucking terrible.
No, I would argue that you're the best looking person in the room. You're very handsome. You're very handsome.
Let's be fair. I when the mics are off, I am also mean. So, that's not.
Why don't you tell everybody how it used to be in the office?
Oh yeah, so we'd walk in when we're on the Jim Jefferies show, and I'd say hi to everybody, and then I'd say, "Hey, Luis, have you gained weight?" That's how I greet him every morning.
Every single morning, he would walk into our office. You look fatter.
We didn't have HR. Our HR was Tommy Caprio, which means there is no HR.
Prince, I don't care.
And I'm really fat. That's the
So it's
funny
more
part about
hurtful
it.
coming from you.
I thought about this the other day. I saw I was just on Instagram and I saw this person that I'd known in my past, and they're like a huge yoga person. They're like in really good shape. And I was like, I wonder if just thinking, I wonder what it would be like to date a yoga instructor. And I was like, there's no way you can look like me and date a yoga instructor. There's no way that you'd be going to parties like, this is my sack of shit. This husband over here. I take care of myself.
I call him the project.
I'm not a very good instructor, obviously.
It's funny because me and my brothers all have the fat gene, and we all fight against the fat gene. But at any given time, one of us is big. And the other 2 have lost weight. We all yo-yo up and down. And Scott's been fucking every time we play. He goes, yeah, just lost another 10 pounds. Carb free. Just, businessman. I gotta look thin. Hanging out in Perth, right? He does all that, right? Anyway, so he did that. And then he goes, hey, I've lost 15 pounds already. 15 pounds. And all I said to him is, you'll be back. We don't encourage each other. We wait for each other's downfalls. And then you ring the other brother up. Oh, fuck, he's looking fat.
Maybe you're just giving it to each other. It's just weight that you give to each other.
Yeah. We have the same amount of weight that just gets passed around. I've got 20.
It's your family heirloom.
I have 20 days before I go to Australia. And I'm going to lose a quick 10 pounds, which I can always do in 20 days. I've done it for TV and stuff like that. I'm on the mission right now to lose the quick 10 pounds because I'm going to eat the shit out of Australia.
All the meat pies you want.
Yeah, so when I come back from Australia, I'll be 10 pounds heavier than I am right now. But you don't know that I've actually starved to make that 20.
Yeah. So
you're
putting on 20.
I'll be eating orgalo chicken with fucking, I'll be eating everything in Australia.
Less time than that, actually, because you just came back from Baltimore, Greenville. You had those, and you had these Canada gigs coming up.
Canada's coming up. Saskatoon, Regina.
Winnipeg,
What else are you doing? Come and see me. Although those shows are all going to sell out. They're on target to sell out. So get your tickets now. They're very close.
June 2nd, Winnipeg. June 3rd, Saskatoon.
Love
June
my
4th,
Canadian
Regina.
people. They're great crowds. Between me and you, there is I believe there will be a special recorded in Canada very soon.
Ooh.
Just
When I say
between-
soon, within this year.
Just between you and all the thousands of listeners.
I won't
Don't
say
tell anyone.
where, and I won't say when, and I won't say what network for Netflix. But there'll be a recording
Okay.
happening.
You have to say where eventually.
I will eventually, but
Yeah, be
it could
helpful.
change, and I don't want to upset
It's
the people.
nobody's business.
I don't
right
want to
now.
upset the people of beep. Yeah,
Oh, wow. That was a long beep.
It's DeLong's name.
yeah. So it's a long name. I say Montreal in both the English and the French.
It's not Montreal.
Not Montreal.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, and then subscribe to our Patreon.
Patreon.com/IDCat. Merch is at IDon'tKnowAboutThat.com. Follow us on Instagram, IDCat Podcast.
Yeah. And if you want to get a onesie for your baby, it says April 18th. Those are available.
Oh, yeah. We need
On
to
the
talk
internet.
about that. So,
Right.
a lot of people have reached out saying we need April 18th merch. So, I decided to research to see if any like what was out there already. And the first thing that you find is fucking baby onesies.
It's
One of
so
them has a
bad.
fist. And then with April 18th on it. And the other one says, I love April 18th, which is notoriously a day that babies are not made.
Yeah.
If you're putting
Yeah,
it in the right.
the irony is these people wouldn't exist.
Yeah. So we're going to be coming out with baby onesies.
No, don't be bringing that. And then they just put underneath it, instead of just going April 18th thing, they go Jim Jefferies.
Yeah.
I don't make a
One of-
cent off these
One of
things.
the captions on it was amazing Jim Jefferies onesie. And you're like, wait, what's amazing?
Yeah,
about-
what do I fucking do? Wrote a joke and now you're all fucking telling them, putting it on babies?
Well, so we won't have those in the merch store, but we do have fun
But
stuff.
I'm trying to come up with an April 18th logo type thing.
Yeah, well,
I'm thinking about doing Jeffries 418 as if it's a Bible verse.
yeah,
That's a good one. I like
Jefferies
that one.
418, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim 418, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
And,
Jim's a
and the
biblical
Lord
name.
will have given to the sodomites.
Yeah, exactly. And we're working on poo on the stick right now. So
Poo on a stick tour.
Yeah, you'll be happy about that one,
I
Jim.
love that too.
Yeah,
Poo
you
on a
should
stick.
still have the tour. Like the next tour should be Poo on a Stick.
Yeah, poo on a
Really,
stick.
yeah, honestly, who cares what anybody says? Do poo on it. You'll get so many people to come just because they want to go to the poo on a stick tour. Even people who aren't fans will be like, I have to go to this.
Yeah.
you imagine when you're doing press, like the radio in the city. It's like, we got Jim Jefferies on the line here for his Poo on a Stick tour. It's like,
Is
you're gonna be at the Sony Center, huh?
is there anything? Well, I like that name. My show's things dangerous. Is there anything more dangerous than an 11-year-old kid with a bit of dog shit on a stick running at you? I think not.
No,
If you-
that's really scary.
If you want to fill your fucking heart with fear, poo on a stick.
It's called a war crime, so that's why the military doesn't use them anymore.
Yeah. All right, let's start the podcast.
maybe ads.
Yeah.
Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well, with dinners that work for you, not the other way around. Green Chef's options for every lifestyle, including keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, fast and fit, Mediterranean, and gluten-free. Whether you're looking for the carb-conscious, gluten-free, plant-based, or calorie-conscious options, or you just want to have a delicious, balanced dish, Green Chef has flavorful, full recipes that are sure to satisfy. As the only keto meal kit on the market, Green Chef sticking to a carb-conscious lifestyle makes that easy. I love it. You know, everything's portioned out. You get to make the food. It makes you feel like you're a chef.
It's true.
I had a thing with peppers and there was couscous. It was very good. Very good.
I had a stuffed beef pita thing that was excellent. Learned
Excellent.
some new cooking techniques with it. It was cool.
Need variety? No problem. Green Chef offers over 24 always changing recipes to choose every week, so you never get bored. Green Chef Fast and Fit option is the ideal option for eating well and when you're strapped for time, with recipes under 700 calories and ready to eat in 25 minutes or less. Green Chef pre-portioned ingredients means you'll actually reduce your food waste by at least 25% compared to grocery shopping, according to the HelloFresh Global Food Waste Study. So that's true. You go home, you buy groceries, you buy a whole tomato. Here they give it portion out for you.
That's right.
You cut a couple of slices, you throw the tomato away. That's waste. And I hate waste. So To get a delicious food and help save the planet, what more could you ask for? Go to greenchef.com/I-don't-know-130 and use the code I-don't-know-130 to get $130 off plus free shipping. Go to greenchef.com/I-don't-know-130 and use the code I-don't-know-130 to get $130 off plus free shipping. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. 2022. Oh, that's way in the future.
Whoa.
Can you imagine? What it's now is the year of the entrepreneur. So many people have created online shops in the past few years, and Shopify is the best way to build your business. With Shopify, you can reach consumers online across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. Shopify makes it simple to synchronize your online and your in-person sales. Plus, gain insights into your growth with detailed reportings over conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is possibility powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/IDK, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/IDK right now. That's Shopify, shopify.com/IDK.
All right. Please welcome our guest, Dan Nepstad.
G'day, Dan. Now it's time to play.
Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though. Yes, though. Judging a book by its cover.
All right. I've already been privy to knowing that you're a doctor. Are you a doctor of medicine, Dan?
I am not.
Ah.
I don't know much about medicine, I'm afraid to say.
So if you're on a plane and they go, "Is there a doctor on board?" Do you put your hand up anyway, or do you think I'm assuming they're not wanting me unless this is a philosophy
I
question?
could teach them something.
Exactly.
Are you a
you have
doctor? Are you
you
a
have a
doctor?
sick tree.
Here we go. So that's how you get the information. So you're a doctor of nature of some description.
Exactly.
They gave
I'm
you a
what they
big hand
call
right
a-
there.
Big-
You slipped
big hand.
up.
Are
right
you
there.
a tree doctor?
I am a tree ecosystem doctor. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So
But that's not our subject.
are we
But
talking
that's a
about
good-
trees?
No, we did trees already.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Um,
But trees are part of this.
Yes, a big part.
And I'll give you a hint. This is something that you have an opinion on.
Oh, is this the rainforest?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the rainforest. I have some controversial opinions.
We're talking about the Amazon rainforest.
I'm
Not
all-
much rain.
I'm all for it. I'm all for
Yeah,
it.
that's a good position to have.
Yeah, I'm all
Before
for
the
it.
Hot
rainforest.
take.
Yeah, I think we should have them. I just have been told since I was a kid. They go like this: "Oh, we lose a football field a day." They've been telling me this since I was little. It should be gone by now. Football field a day is a lot. Like, I know it's very big, but it feels like it should already be gone. I feel like I was bullshitted a bit when in 1988. I felt like they were lying to me a little bit.
All right, well, let me properly introduce our guest first. Daniel Nepstad has a PhD in forest ecology at Yale University. You wrote this in there. Daniel's a tree-killing ecologist. You can explain that to us in a minute. He created, with many collaborators, a computer model called Crystal Ball for analyzing the potential of different public policies to protect the forest. He is a champion of the bottom-up approaches to sustainable development in tropical forest regions. He co-founded IPAM and Alianza de Terra and Inobu, INOBU. Nepstad is an author of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, Fifth Assessment, and has published 160 scientific articles and books. And you also are a big part of, or I'm not sure if you're the founder or part of the Earth Innovation Institute. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we set up the Earth Innovation Institute. This is my dream institution where we're basically delivering the support that governments, states and regions around the tropics need to, if there's a governor who wants to move forward and move his whole economy regionally to forest positive, climate positive development, we want to be there to help him.
Okay, well, that's earthinnovation.org. You can find information about that on the website there. And
What is a tree killing ecologist?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, for 20 years, I had these fabulous experiments, let's imagine the rainforest doesn't get enough rain. So we put 6,000 plastic panels so the rain doesn't reach the soil, right? and watched the forest die. So that makes me a tree killing ecologist. And it did die, but not all of it. And or we set huge tracts of forest on fire. That one inspired some hate mail, I must admit. And I think I'm on the blacklist of a lot of elementary school teachers in Brazil. But
And you did this for the greater good, I'm assuming. You just didn't want to burn trees or watch them die. Like you had a purpose to this, right?
we torture trees for the broader good, exactly. And
I do the same with children.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask Jim a bunch of questions about the Amazon rainforest. At the end of his answers, and Kelly will be keeping notes so we can refer to his answers. At the end of him answering these questions, you're gonna grade him on his accuracy, Dan, 0 through 10, 10 being the best. Kelly's gonna grade him on confidence, and I'm gonna grade him 0 through 10 on etc. And if you get 21 through 30, Amazonian woman, aka Wonder Woman, aka Gal Gadot. That's pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the dot.
11 through 20 total, Amazon on Fire Stick.
Yeah, I
Get
like
it?
them too.
All
Yeah.
right. 0 through 10, Jeff Bezos Rainforest. Not a good one.
Yeah.
Well,
It's very successful, man.
yeah, not as a rainforest though. Okay. In what continent is the Amazon rainforest located?
It's in South America.
All right. You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
You got one right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll give you the easy one first. How many countries does it spread across? Or how many square miles?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Country square miles is way harder.
Okay.
Both of those questions are in there. So.
Yeah. I'll go 4 countries.
4 countries. You know how many square miles? Because you know the football field thing you said at the beginning. This is gonna
Yeah, square miles. It's going to be 2,000 square miles.
2,000 square miles. What does biodiversity mean?
Bio meaning two from the word bi. Diversity meaning diverse from the word diverse. And so it's too diverse, man.
It's way too much diversity.
Yeah. Too much diversity.
Yeah. I mean, it's wrong, but not that wrong, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are rainforests so important?
Well, they a lot of animals survive there. A lot of oxygen is made through the forest, and that type of stuff. It breeds life. It's the habitat for many animals now that are all but extinct without the forest.
Water from the Amazon River flows into what ocean?
I'm gonna. This might be wrong, but it might be right. The Indian Ocean.
Okay, that is wrong.
The Pacific.
Yeah, we have Indian locked in.
Okay.
How many miles long is the river?
Oh, okay. So across America is 3,000 miles. It's going to be shorter than that, and it's through the things. I'm going to say it's 1,200 miles long.
Look, you got South America right. So I don't know actually how long it is. You might be closer. What is the Amazon rainforest nickname?
Shorty, 'cause it's so long.
Who is
No, that was Hippo Heaven because of well, I know this because Pablo Escobar let all the hippos out in there.
Right.
Is that the same thing? Probably not.
How much of the Amazon rainforest is situated in Brazil?
Oh, 48%.
28%. How many of the world's species can be found there? Like, for example, 1 in 4, 1 in 5, 1 in 6, like that.
I'll say 1 in 5.
1 in 5 of the world's species can be found there.
Yep.
And then what is the average temperature?
A balmy 89 degrees. I'm doing Fahrenheit here. It's a ridiculous measurement, but I'll do it.
Okay, here's the question. What is the Amazon tipping point?
Tipping point. What do you mean? The point of no return. It would be another 78 football fields.
Okay, 78 more days.
Yeah, we're very close.
Okay, here's the question you might get. What is deforestation?
It's what a lot of people request for this podcast.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, I wouldn't say a lot, but some people want me. Some people want me off the podcast.
That was brilliant.
Sorry, mate. It hurt to say that joke, but it was too good.
No, you were so excited. I could see you're very excited.
I feel bad now.
With current rates of deforestation, the Amazon rainforest could disappear by what year?
All right, at the current rate, we won't have the Amazon in 2042.
Okay, how many inches of rainfall does the Amazon rainforest get each year?
Each year?
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell you each day,
Yeah,
it's
and
getting
multiply by
about
365.
4 inches a day. 4 times 364. I'm going to
365.
360. Oh no, but there's off days. Um,
Wait, 4 times 365, 1,460 inches.
Yep.
Okay. Do humans live in the Amazon rainforest?
Yeah, they find tribes in the Amazon every now and again that are untouched by people, man. That they're still like the people with the plates in their lips and shit like that. I might be racist saying that, so I'm trying to say it, but there's definitely there's natives that live in the Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, I just moved that question because I should have put these in a different order because the next one makes more sense after the rainfall.
Sting hanged out with
What?
the bloke with the plate.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Stop. What fraction of the world's fresh water is found in the Amazon basin? So the entire world, the fresh water, what fraction of it is found in the Amazon?
18%.
How much oxygen does the Amazon rainforest produce?
Oh, 14% of the
What?
world's oxygen.
What is the relationship between the Amazon rainforest and the Sahara Desert?
They're cousins.
Yeah.
They see each other at Christmas.
By blood or
No, they probably were joined together in some way
Okay.
before the plates shifted, before the meteorite hit and the dinosaurs all left and all that
Right.
type of stuff. So they probably live next door to each other. There's probably similar fossils in each one.
Okay,
Dinosaur
so
fossils.
we've got more questions. We'll get to them, but I'm only going to ask a few more because
I'm nailing it.
Yeah, I think we'll just get the right answers. How about this? What is an epiphyte?
An epiphyte.
Isn't that a guitar?
Yeah, an epiphyte. Epidural.
Okay, next question.
Fight. It's when you hold down a pregnant woman so she can get the medicine to give birth.
What is a liana?
Liana. That's you're dating a girl. That's the friend that annoys you and says you're too good for him.
Okay, well, last question. Discuss climate change as it relates to Amazon rainforest. Give us a sentence.
Because then when the temperatures rise, the plants won't live because we won't have as much rain, or we'll have flooding all the time. We'll have rain.
Why does the rainforest role in this?
Because it'll get flooded. You don't want that. You want it to have the right amount of water, 4 inches a day.
Okay. Dan, how you doing? How did Jim do there in his knowledge? Let's take out the first one, which you got South America correct. Other than that question, how do you do in his knowledge of Amazon?
No, that's a
and
point. You
rainforest?
can't take away me point.
It's not a point.
Let's see. You got about, generously speaking, maybe 35, 40%.
4.
Wow.
35, 40. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It's better than I
So
thought.
It's 4 out of 10.
I'd give you on a scale from 1 to 10. I'd give you right in there 3 to 4.
Yeah, all right.
we'll give
Pretty
it a
amazing.
now.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard about that, that you're a Renaissance dude. and
I am, man.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Not today. Okay. How do you do on confidence, Kelly?
He didn't even look confident answering the one question I thought he got right. So I'm going to give him a 1 on confidence.
Wow. All right, we're up to 5.
I got some right. I got 34%.
Yeah, but you weren't confident.
I think you got
about-
partial credit throughout, maybe.
Yeah, that's a total of 5. So I'm going to give you 15. I'm going to give you 14 just for the joke about me. It was funny. So you're up to 19. Amazon on a fire
Friendship.
stick. Yeah. Okay. So Jim, I asked him, in what continent is the Amazon rainforest located? He said South America. And then how many countries is it spread across? He said 4 countries and it's 2,000 square miles. How do you do there?
Yeah. It's 8 countries and it's 2 million square kilometers. Well, 2.7. It's about the size of the lower 48 of the US.
Wow.
So you're off only by a factor of 1,000 on the area.
Yeah, but the way
Does that change your opinion on
I'm
how?
talking about what it's going to look like in 2040.
Right, but if you were originally thinking it was 2,000 square miles, then it would make sense that you're like, how do we have any left? But 2.7 million square miles.
What you do is you take a tree, you plant a tree. That's how you do it.
What is it? A tip jar?
Okay. And the countries are, it's 8
Is that
countries.
what you do with tip jars?
No, the take a penny, leave a penny.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
not a tip
thinking.
jar.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
You've been tipping wrong all these years.
What are the 8 countries?
It's Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Bolivia, Ecuador. Oh, actually, there's 9. Venezuela, Guyana, French Guiana, and Suriname.
Okay. So 9 countries. And then was it square kilometers or miles? He said that.
Wow.
Square miles, yeah. 2.7 the total Amazon area, and then 2.1 of that is forest.
Wow. Okay. I asked Jim, what does biodiversity mean? He says it means it's too diverse. From the Latin bio and diversity. What does biodiversity mean?
Bio refers to life, and bi refers to two. So you left out an O on the bio. So it really means that the diversity of life, everything from species to communities to ecosystems.
Oh.
And then,
So no one's biosexual?
I'm sure.
well, I think everybody is really. I mean, it's part of life, man.
I'm life sexual.
Yeah.
Biosexual.
And then why are rainforests so important? I know it's a pretty broad question. He said oxygen and habitat for animals. You got a point there, maybe.
Yeah. Actually, I hate to break it to you, but the Amazon rainforest is a scrub, it's a wash on oxygen. It releases a huge amount of oxygen, but it absorbs about the same amount. And but another way it's important is that it just affects the climate so much. If you look at the total emissions of all human activities over the last decade, that's about as much carbon as are in the trees of the Amazon. So if that gets loose, we're screwed, to put it lightly. And we'll get into some of the other reasons it's important.
Yeah, we could talk about it now because there was a question I didn't even get to about the world's largest pharmacy kind of thing. That was a question I was going to ask you, Jim. It's called the world's largest pharmacy.
Yeah, because why is there no headaches in the jungle? Because the parrots eat them all.
What?
What's paracetamol?
Paracetamol. That's the active
ingredient.
ingredient.
That's other countries. They don't call that here.
But it's still the active ingredient in the Panadol.
Yeah, I know. We just call it Aleve.
Because the parrots eat them all.
Oh, I've never heard of that term.
Yeah, me neither. I was trying to figure out like the parrot.
Dan got it. Dan understood the joke.
He's
a doctor.
Okay.
But
sorry.
Yeah, tons of drugs today, you can trace back the active ingredients to a rainforest plant, either in the Amazon or elsewhere. And we've just begun to tap that potential. It's actually pretty expensive to identify what those active ingredients are. And but that's one reason it's called a pharmacy.
Oh, it's like that movie Medicine Man with Sean Connery, where he cured cancer and he couldn't get out in time to tell everyone.
What
exactly.
was that?
Yeah.
It's called Medicine Man. Yeah. It's like a documentary with Sean Connery.
He was in the rainforest?
He's in the rainforest.
Yeah.
Never seen that.
I did not know that one. I do remember from my schooling that, like, just in general, the medicines that we get from nature, like aspirin from willow trees, I think if I'm right.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. They used to chew on like willow branches when they had a toothache or something. I think that's what and then it helped, made it feel better. And that's salicylic acid or something. I'm just pulling stuff out of my butt, but I think that's all right.
But is that like of all jungles, or just the Amazon seems to be the pharmacy? Like I know like Aboriginals in Australia would open pawpaws up and put them on their skin, and now we use pawpaw ointment to make things heal a bit easier and all that sort of stuff. Was that unique to the Amazon, or just that they had more medicine in there?
No, it's all tropical forests, which are just in general incredibly diverse, and just tons and tons of plant species and animal species. So some of the medicines are from animals, some are from plants. You know, what they used to paralyze fish to capture fish, you know, that's being used today for heart surgery. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the idea is like we don't know what's there. So as we're destroying it, we're potentially losing.
So imagine at that size, the Amazon being that big, there must be large portions of the Amazon that haven't been set foot on, right?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the uncontacted tribes, and there still are lots of uncontacted tribes. Most tribes have been contacted, but if you have to think about the Amazon when before the 1500s, when just diseases from European colonists decimated the indigenous people. You know, it's probably best to think about it like this one massive forested garden, you know, where indigenous people are favoring the trees that they need for Brazil nuts or food or medicine, just doing little tweaks to the forest to manage it to the species they need. And I was in the middle of a forest that everyone thought was primary, never been touched. And a meter underground, we ran into pottery shards. So there was like a tip up of a forest root ball. They probably swept their fire, charcoal, and a broken pot and we just happened to land on it. And so across the Amazon, you find charcoal and shards and things like that.
Now, you have you met some of these uncontacted tribes like early on, or have you done that?
Yeah, I've managed to convert 3 tribes from uncontacted to contacted, so they're no longer in. No, I'm just kidding. No, I've never contacted. I've just been with indigenous people who've been pretty well connected to.
I thought he was
modern
going to say he
society.
converted them
No,
to some
because
sort of
that's
religion.
gonna, that's
what is
gonna
this about?
spin you the fuck out, man. Because when people arrive and they get contacted, that's the same as aliens.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's the
it's just
same as aliens. And they must see the planes fly over. They must
They
just
do,
go,
yeah.
fucking hell.
Birds are
What's going on over
scary.
there? Things are going crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So water from the Amazon River flows into what ocean? He said the Indian Ocean.
That's a little off. That's the Atlantic.
Yeah.
But all oceans are connected.
I've never understood
go,
the
yeah,
oceans.
no.
They all seem to be one big bit of bloody water.
The main one.
There doesn't seem to be borders on the fucking things. It's all the same water.
Well, but you'd have to go through most of the Atlantic to get there. Or all
I
the
thought it
Atlantic.
might have gone because Western Australia's got the Indian Ocean, you see, and I thought that maybe the water went that way and it
Oh, they came out there. I got it.
came out the other. There was method to my madness, but I was wrong.
And how long is the river, the Amazon River?
It's longer than the U.S. is wide, so it's about 4,000 miles. 4,000 miles.
Fuck that up, didn't I?
And somebody has swam the whole river, right?
yeah, he's a hippo.
No, there's a human that swam the
What?
whole river.
No.
No, you'd bloody get
He'd
an
die.
anaconda to fucking kill you.
Am I wrong?
I know there's someone who kayaked. Maybe someone did swim it.
Kayak, I'll take.
Okay, well, let's
Swim,
see.
I will
Hold
not
on.
allow.
Yeah, there's piranhas and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
They're
you know how
toast.
far it is to swim 4,000? There's
Well, they
piranhas,
take-
there's anacondas, there's hippos.
Last year, well, let's see.
Rocks.
This was from 2008. So in 2007, on April 8th, Slovenian marathon swimmer Martin Strel became the first man to swim the entire length of the Amazon River from headwaters in Peru to the Brazilian port city of Belém. 3,274 miles. It took him 66 days with a support crew of near 20 people following him in a boat for protection.
Whoa.
Booyah!
Damn.
Oh, it's on the internet. It must be true.
Yeah. Also, I mean, if I would have done that, I would have gotten a lot more press than that.
Yeah, I did it. I did it
That's
backstroke.
amazing.
Holy cow.
That would be so scary.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
No, you got your mates with you cheering you on. If you're just into,
Hey.
if you're just into swimming, you just do it. Did he cover himself in the whale blubber or whatever they do when they swim the English Channel? Is it?
No,
Is
he's just in a
it
wetsuit.
warm?
It
Is
looks
it
like.
warm water? Is it warm?
It's very warm.
Yeah,
very
no.
very swimmable.
So it was a leisurely swim.
No problem.
he's drinking a glass of wine in the water right here.
Wow.
He's having a
This
good
guy's-
time.
I
Antioxidants.
hope he avoided the kanjiru.
What's
They're
the kangaroo?
little fish that love orifices.
Oh yeah,
And
he's
that-
got
but-
plenty of
but
those in his
yeah.
pee hole.
Wait. What
And
do they do?
Well, they follow if they detect uric acid from urine, they follow it until they find the orifice, and then they go in, and they're really hard to get out. I'll say no more.
They're really
but-
hard to
Yeah.
get out. Oh no!
So Dan, how did you get it out, mate?
Tweezers.
You'll notice how I'm sitting here.
Oh, man. What is the Amazon rainforest nickname? Shorty or Hippo Heaven?
The pharmacy.
Gotta be one of those.
The one that's most common is lungs of the earth, and it's just not true. I wish it were. A lung too is not a source of oxygen, right? So it's true in the sense that the Amazon forest takes in CO2, releases oxygen, and breathes, respires, right? So because we think of the lungs in our body, it's where we get our oxygen, but it doesn't make the oxygen. So
Yeah. Okay. And how much of the Amazon rainforest is situated in Brazil? Jim said 48%.
almost 2/3. So Brazil is the giant.
Such a big country. Makes sense. And then I guess a lot of it. How many of the world species can be found there? Jim said 1 in 5.
I gave him a yes on that because we don't really know, and it's probably somewhere in about 1 in 8, 1 in 10, something like that. So I think that was an amazingly brilliant guess.
Had there been any new animals just pop up where you're walking along and there's like a pink elephant and you're like, what the fuck? How did we miss this one? Like, does that happen every now and again?
There's still new species being found every year, and a lot of this lot of the things are not nearly as charismatic as a pink elephant. If we did a study comparing little streams on the same farm, and sometimes the overlap in species is only 30%, and 20% of the species of fish you find are new to science, that they've never been described. And so there's incredible diversity that we haven't begun to figure out what it is.
And how did the people, if the people are untouched, how did they get there? Like, how big are these tribes? Are they thousands of people, or are they just a group of 50, or how big are these tribes?
So the tribes are way down. They're much less than about 5% of their original population because of epidemics and all of that. And so the biggest part of the population are, colonists, European stock folks who've moved in, or Spanish stock folks, and just also Europe, of course. But so there's 27 million people, and only a tiny fraction of that are indigenous people living as indigenous people.
And did they quarantine during COVID? Did they wear masks, or they just not notice it happened?
The non-contacted tribes?
Yeah, did anyone in the non-contacted tribes get COVID?
Good question.
They social distance very well.
Great question. But tribes were hammered. They were hammered by COVID, and some of them had access to masks and vaccinations, but most did not. And it's been really sad.
Jim, back to your pink elephant. There is a pink dolphin that's in the Amazon River.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a funky looking animal too.
Give me a look at it. I'll tell you if it's any good.
I'll tell you if it's any good.
Yeah.
Do you know
Folklore has it sneaking
he's got
out
a big
of the
mouth.
river.
He's got a big mouth on him.
Wait, folklore has what? No.
Says that the pink dolphin, the males, sneak out of the river at night, and they seduce women and get them pregnant.
Human.
Oh, yeah.
And
That would be with that big mouth of theirs.
That's what the women say. It's like the dolphin. Okay,
Exactly.
They bite off a man's balls, and then
they're endangered, I believe, right? The Amazonian dolphins.
Yeah, because that's actually that was one of the things I found. Something that said one South American legend claims that this creature that lives in the Amazon River takes the form of a human male who seduces a woman and can get them pregnant.
Who's the guy who I'm the pink dolphin? I don't imagine he's impregnating many women. I believe he's probably dancing the night away somewhere. That's another bit of the Amazon gone.
An alarm that goes off. One more football field
He just
down.
gets alerts.
This depressing alarm that Dan has. He's like, well, we lost another one. So average temperature 89 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that?
Yeah, that's at the upper end. Actually, it's getting warmer, and as you might suspect, but it's an amazingly pleasant temperature to actually live in. Every night it's down to about 68, 70 degrees, and most days it's up around 90. So,
And is it like it must be colder under the canopy, right? Than it is. Is it a drastic change in?
It's colder in the open because the canopy retains the heat.
Oh, okay.
And dew formation, right? If you have a clear sky and humid air, you get dew on the ground. Every single night, the forest of the Amazon gets dew, and that means it's soggy, right? And that protects it from rainfall. I mean, from fire, in the absence of rainfall. And but it's incredibly humid, right? So if it gets much above 90 degrees, you really feel it, and you have to collapse and drink beer.
Yeah, I was in the Kakadu National Park in Australia. You know Kakadu National Park? Is that one?
Never been there. Would love to go there.
But is that similar? It seems like it's a big canopy thing, but it was hot as all balls when I was up there. It's in the north of Queensland. But if you haven't been there, I don't know if that.
No, it's really similar. Very similar. Yeah. Temperature and humidity wise, it's basically a sweat bath.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the tipping point, the Amazon. Jim said 78 more football fields. So this is kind of something we talked about at the beginning, why he doesn't comprehend how the Amazon rainforest is still there and could be losing that much each day. But now you might have a better comprehension, right?
It's very big.
Bigger than you thought, yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So a football field a day is still a lot, though. Yeah. Or is that an accurate even assessment?
And are we losing it just for paper or wooden things, or are they mowing it down to put apartments up? What are they doing?
They paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
Yeah.
Whoa. So So we're losing 3 or 4 football fields every second, not every day.
Well, then
from
it
the
should be
Amazon.
gone by now. I don't
That's
care
even
how
worse.
big it is. That's very fast.
And the good news is there's still about 80% of it left. And the whole idea of a tipping point comes from the fact that the rain in the Amazon comes from the forest itself. There's so much water coming off the canopy, and that feeds the rain clouds downwind. So we have wind sweeping from the east to the west generally, and they just pick up more moisture from the forest. And when the forest is gone, we don't get that moisture feeding the clouds. And so, right now we don't know exactly how much, but 60, 70, 80% forest loss. And we could flip the regional climate to something that doesn't sustain rainforests. And suddenly all of those huge amounts of carbon start leaking into the atmosphere. But anyway, the good news is there's time to prevent a tipping point. And
are we doing anything to stop the tipping point, or are we worse than we've ever been?
There was a period from 2005 to 2012 when Brazil had a very audacious strategy to slow it down, and they got it down 80%. But it's been creeping up since then. And the good thing that's happened now is finally we're getting a carbon market that could actually pay for reductions. So if a state government has a plan to lower deforestation 90% over the next 5 years, there's now people who are going to pay that. There's companies who are going to pay that. So that I think is a big part of what could be the solution going forward.
They pay who? Like, because going back to Jim's question, like, why is who's destroying the forest and why is it being destroyed? Then it's going to slow these people down. Is that what it is?
70% of all the land cleared in the Amazon is in cattle pasture, and it's for
farming. Okay,
it's for lousy cattle pasture. These are skinny cows. Often, some of them are great cattle ranches where they got great forage and they're fattening them up almost as well as the Australians do. But a lot of it is just a way of claiming the land or keeping some subsistence beef production going, having some milk, or larger operations that do commercialize the beef, but they don't make a whole lot of money at it. And so that's the big thing. If we can give other economic alternatives to small scale farmers or medium and large scale farmers who are doing that, that's a big part of it. Another is cracking down on illegal activities, and some of the state governments are making good progress on that. There's places more than 76% of the Amazon in Brazil by law has to remain forest by law. So if we can implement the law, there's only 5% that can fall legally, and cover that with carbon credits or carbon payments, and suddenly we have a winning solution.
So then you have options because I remember thinking that when I was younger, like, you ask these other countries to stop doing what we did to become powerful, because that's what they want to own land, or they want to use resources and so it sometimes feels weird when you're like, stop doing that, other countries, even though we've destroyed a lot of our country. But all right, so deforestation, we already know what that is. A lot of people want for this podcast. But so the current rates of deforestation in the Amazon rainforest could disappear by what year? Jim said 2042.
Yeah, it's actually out a bit further than that. And the big question on forest loss is drought and fire, right? And that gets to that tipping point issue. If we start getting really severe droughts that are so severe that even those spongy, hard to ignite rainforests can catch fire, then it'll speed up, and
Yeah, that's interesting. Like because we all know Australia's been in fire a couple of years ago. The whole country was on fire. What's to stop just one fire just wiping the whole thing out? Or has that happened before? Because it always grows back more lush, these things, after the bushfires. But you would lose so many animals. You would lose so many different, is there anything to stop that? Or it just, as you said, it's too damp? Or
most years it's too damp. And but then we're starting to get these really nasty droughts. And we had a big El Nino event that was extra severe in 2015 and 16. Last year, or 2019, was another really nasty drought. So that's part of climate change, and it's being exacerbated by losing the forest itself, since forests create the rain. And but most years, you can, when the fire moves into a forest, it's knee high. You can step over it. It's easy to put out. But once it's burned, the forest loses a bunch of trees. The next fire is much bigger, much harder to put out. So if we can keep fire from ever getting a toehold in these primary forests, that makes it all a lot easier.
How many inches of rainfall does the Amazon rainforest get per year? Jim said 1,460.
Anywhere from, let's see, inches, I'm thinking of 1.5 meters, so about 5 feet is the lower limit, and it gets up to 15 feet or more. And so multiply that by 12.
That's
you
a
go
lot,
to the
though.
northwest especially, and there's 3-4 meters of rain every year. And but it's on a lot of the cattle ranches and soy expansion and farming is on the eastern edge, because you have a really strong dry season. And there's about 1.5 meters, and that's where it's most vulnerable, right? If that 1.5 meters becomes 1.2 meters, then that forest is not going to make it.
Mm.
Wow. No, you had a lot more rain.
I had a lot more rain.
I mean, 15 feet is a ton of rain. I don't even know if LA's ever gotten 15 feet in the history of LA total. Like,
Right.
but yeah, it's a ton. So, and the fraction of the world's freshwater is found in the Amazon basin, 18%, or is it bigger? Less than that?
So if you measure that as what's coming out the mouth of the river into the Atlantic, it's about 1/5 of all. It's by far the biggest river. I believe it's 20 times the Mississippi.
So
discharge,
20%.
You
I
were
wasn't
right.
far
You were
off.
right on.
Yeah, I wasn't far off.
So it's the biggest. Wow. Okay. How much bigger than the Mississippi, you said, or?
I'm remembering 20 times the size of the Mississippi in terms of discharge. Way bigger than the Congo. Yeah.
Is there any casinos in the jungle?
You just thought that because of the Mississippi River?
Yeah. Just I could start a boat
The
thing.
Amazon
where I go
Riverboat Casino.
And I'll go, hey, you've been contacted.
Yeah.
And I have something for you.
You could have do you have drinks called the Pink Dolphin?
Yeah.
It'd be great.
If they don't pay their marker, you put that fish up their penis.
Yeah.
Like, was it the Kudgy fish? Kudgy? Yeah.
Kanjiru.
Kanjiru fish. What is it? Kudgy. I don't know what that is.
It sounds like that's Japanese
Yeah,
kangaroo.
a conjuro roll.
Yeah. I could do with some kangaroo right now.
And then oxygen that it produces, Jim said 14% of the world's oxygen, but you were saying, I don't know if that's right, but you were also saying it doesn't really, it uses as much as it produces, right?
Yeah, that what really got going around a couple of years ago. President Macron, I think, referred to that 16% or something, very close to Jim's guess. But the science is just not there. There's huge amounts of oxygen come off those trees, but it soaks up about the same amount.
And then so when you say it soaks it up, like where does it, so it comes from the tree, but then where is it getting used or just getting absorbed?
They do the thing, then the oxygen is brought back down. It is circular.
The animals or the...
Yeah. So when anything dies, like if a massive tree falls in the forest, it starts to decompose.
Does anyone hear that, by the way?
Only the uncontacted folks.
Yeah, they do.
So it's just soaking up oxygen as it decomposes, right? All of the microbes and bacteria and fungi that are soaking it up. Wow. And so it's pretty much in balance.
With the uncontacted, I'm a bit curious about this. With the ones that are found, do they always have a form of a god? I feel like every mankind always finds a way to believe in a man on a cloud. That, you know what I mean? Do they have a god, or
yeah?
Or are there any atheist tribes?
That's a great question. I think there's a lot of spirituality in all of the tribes I'm aware of, and with natural phenomena being okay. That's because of the rain god or the rain spirit, but it's a very different theology, right, than big guy sitting on a throne. And right. But so I'd say there's a lot of spirituality and right. And a lot of pharmaceutical pathways to explore that spirituality. And
yeah.
Do any of them believe in QAnon?
That's where it started. Yeah. That's why it was so cryptic. What is the relationship between the Amazon rainforest and the Sahara Desert? Jim said they're cousins. See each other on holidays.
One way to think about it is the Sahara Desert is like the fertilizer for the Amazon. The big dust storms that happen in the Sahara, those go across the Atlantic, and it falls out in rain over the Amazon. And so people have traced a lot of nutrients to to the Sahara.
Wow.
Of course, without the Amazon, that's going to really screw up climate patterns all around the world. And, rainfall in California, snowpack in California, some studies show could be affected negatively if we lose big chunks of the Amazon. And similarly, the Sahara, right now, it's there because of the way the global circulation and climate works. And you start to whittle away at that big, huge continental-sized forest, and suddenly air currents are moving in different ways, and rainfall and temperatures get different around the world.
What does the word Amazon mean? Does it have a meaning? Is there something in the word?
Well, it refers to some of the women-led indigenous warriors of the Amazon, and when the first explorer encountered them coming down the Amazon, and
so women were called Amazonian before. I thought they were named after the jungle, not the other way around. Is that
right? It started with them.
Yeah.
But I stand to be corrected. Yeah.
Wonder Woman was first.
Female warriors of Greek mythology were Amazons.
Oh, and they just it's like
and there was a tribe, I think, in the
they were going to call the jungle big ass bitch.
Yeah, I call myself Amazonian all the time. Like I'm 6'2". I am an Amazon woman.
And you love ordering from Amazon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do.
And you eat up a lot of natural resources, so the planet's dying.
I don't.
Oh, you don't cut down trees? I think I've seen you.
No, not one.
There's an axe in your trunk right now. Admit it.
That's not for cutting trees. That's for killing people.
Okay. So what is an epiphyte? I'm not even going to read Jim's answer. And a liana, these two things, his answers are wrong.
An epiphyte is a plant that grows on a tree, so it doesn't touch the ground. A liana is a plant that's connected to the ground but doesn't have its own. It can't support itself. It hangs on to a tree, yeah.
And those are very common in the.
So it is like the annoying friend. Jim.
Yeah, they like
you were not far off.
Okay, maybe. And those are very common because I guess we didn't talk about the tree. I didn't even ask how tall do trees grow there. That was a question.
Super tall, man.
Yeah.
They 200
meters.
No, about a third of that. About 60, 65, 70.
Well, there's so many different layers too of the tree. Like the canopy is so dense, right? Like how does that affect how the rainfall or sun hits like the forest floor? Like, is enough sunlight getting there, or rain or any of that stuff? Is that being affected?
You should be an ecologist. That's the sort of thing we think about a lot. There's about, on average, 5 layers of leaf above any patch of the rainforest floor. So by the time the sunlight gets all the way through those leaves, there's maybe 1 or 2% of it remaining. Wow. And about 20% on average annually of the rain that hits the forest never makes it to the ground. It sticks on the leaves and the trunks and evaporates.
Say 20%?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is going to sound super stupid, but I have to ask. Did they have autumn?
It's
like it feels like there's no seasons there. I know there's no snow. Is it always pretty much the same every day, or are there seasons? Really, is what I'm asking.
There's 2 main seasons, wet and dry, and in between. It's not unlike autumn in that a lot of trees are changing the types of leaves they have. They're getting rid of their wet season leaves and putting on their dry season leaves. And sometimes they're red and yellow and just really bright colors as part of that leaf change. And the temperature is flat. What changes is rainfall. And that means that the forest undergoes this amazing difference or leaf change.
Are there a lot of poachers in the Amazon trying to get exotic birds and whatnot for people's collections?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that might be a thing. Sounds like something they'd get up to.
You never seen that? It's terrible with the parrots.
I know. I saw there's a movie called Rio, which had some parrots.
The animated movie?
I've seen it. It's actually a documentary.
Yeah, it's all about that. Have you seen Rio? It's all right. It's one of the better films. Yeah, it's all right.
It's depressing how they smuggle parrots in the tubes and the PVC. Right. And they take them and they like literally shove them in like PVC pipes that have holes in them. They put them in suitcases and they're just expecting most of them or a lot of them to die.
What the hell?
And then the ones that live, they say, am I wrong? I've seen pictures of that. Like,
no, that's correct. Yeah.
So don't buy parrots.
I imagine people try to get exotic snakes and all sorts out of there, right?
We had a parrot growing up. We had an Amazonian. I just said don't buy parrot, but we had a parrot growing up. It was a yellow-naped Amazon, and we found it after a hurricane. And I grew up in Florida.
In his uncle's suitcase.
Yeah, in a tube. No, it was after Hurricane. I forget which one. Maybe it's Hurricane Andrew in South Florida, and we were at my grandparents' house and we were assessing the damage, and we just didn't see it. A bird flew in the bushes, and we're like, "What?" And my mom goes, "Hello," and it just comes walking out and goes, "Hello." And its bill was damaged. It was a little beat up, but it could talk, so we kept it. His name was George.
If it couldn't talk, they would have killed it right over there.
No, I'm saying I should have rephrased that. It could talk, so we knew a little bit of information about it. We knew there was a guy named Victor, and there was a Dr. Hector, and their dog's name was Patches.
He just watched one episode of Fantasy Island like the day before. He didn't know anything.
No, we put an ad in the paper. And we're like, hey, that we found this parrot, and people tried to claim it because the birds are worth thousands of dollars. So people were like, yeah, it's my bird. What's its name? I don't know. Like we knew all this information, so people couldn't lie to us. So we ended up keeping him, and we had him for a long time. And then he changed all of his vocal patterns to us. So we did have a parrot, but we didn't like buy it.
Yeah, he used to have a lovely cheerful voice. By the end, he sounded like gravel.
Yeah, he did.
Just like, I'm a bird.
No, he did imitate me. Even
Yeah.
He would imitate my mom's voice.
How many grams do you want?
He would yell like if my mom was saying, "Hey, Forrest," from across the house. He would imitate that, and I'd be like, "What?" And my mom would be like, "That's George, not me." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he could knock on the door like that. And
oh yeah, you had a real Ferris Bueller's day off. You used to sit George in there. I'm not feeling good.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the only way we had a parrot. Other than that, there's some horrible ways they get here. So stay away from it. The roots of the trees. We talked about like how tall they grow, but the I didn't even ask you this, Jim. How deep are the roots of Amazon trees?
Oh, they would go down 20 meters.
20 meters. How do you do there, Dan?
Man, you nailed it. 22.
Hey.
I should say that the science used to assume that they were really shallow and that all of the action was in the first few centimeters. And when I got to start my PhD dissertation in 1984 in a little town called Patagobala, which means Patago bullet, and because of it's a big land conflict area. And I talked to well diggers, and they say, "Oh no, we find roots all the way down." And the deepest root we found was 22 meters, and that explains why almost a half of the Amazon is not a savanna, because with those deep roots, they can keep moisture coming up, feeding the leaf canopy even through the dry seasons.
Right.
But
yeah, that was the thing I remember. They said they were shallow, but that's been all debunked then, right?
yeah, there's some, a lot of the action is on the top, and a leaf falls in the root mat, and fungi go into it to pull the nutrients out before it even gets to the soil. And so where there's really poor soil in the Amazon, these white sands, for example, that don't have anything, no nutrients, you'll see literally a root layer that can be, a foot thick sometimes. And in those places, the deeper roots don't play a huge role.
Now, you said that it was called the pharmacy because they found so many pharmaceutical drugs that help us to this day. Have they found any fun drugs in there? Is there a molly tree? Is there an ecstasy fern? What's going on?
It's the same drugs. You just want molly. Yeah.
Banisteriopsis is a vine, a liana, and it has given us ayahuasca. And getting back to the indigenous people, that's one of the main, a huge part of many indigenous cultures, rituals. Take.
You guys all went ooh at the
We all
same
went
time.
ooh.
Yeah, because I really want to do ayahuasca.
So ayahuasca is from the rainforest.
Yes.
Oh, I just thought it was from Joshua Tree. That's where everybody does it.
That's where it's been exported to.
You're
Yeah.
going to Joshua Tree to do some ayahuasca.
You should try the fentanyl fern.
The fentanyl fern. Have you ever seen a jaguar, like in the wild there?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
That's
A lot.
That's scary.
They're
Chris
hard to
Farley
see.
now. Is that scary?
Jaguar?
It's just a beaten up car that's driven off an edge.
Yeah.
How many times have you been there?
He's there right
And
now.
I lived in the Amazon for about 10 years, all totaled. And so in the first few years, I was in the forest almost every day. And So you see a lot, and these fragmented landscapes where you got farms opening up and cattle pastures, and the jaguars and tapirs and peccaries are squeezed, right? They're squeezed into smaller and smaller areas, and they start going out into the pastures and get hit by cars and things like that. And but yeah, we actually ran into a jaguar, a young one once, in our truck coming back from the field one night, and we all shed a tear on that one. But
were you there with your family, or were you there by yourself, or is it quite lonely out there? Or
yeah, I was there with my family. Yeah,
Right.
my older kids. My younger kids I took to Indonesia, but we only spent a year and a half there.
Yeah.
That's a cool experience for them. Like, yeah, I grew up
they
in the
love
Amazon rainforest.
Sorry.
one of them went on to become Tarzan. Was Tarzan from the Amazon? Where was he hanging out?
I think it was in Africa.
Congo, yeah.
Yeah, Congo, right? Okay, that makes
He
more
swings
sense. Yeah,
jungle
he
to
was
jungle.
hanging out with gorillas, right? So that would have made
Yeah, 'cause I imagine I've never been to the Amazon, but I imagine if you got deep enough into it, you would just see so much animal life. That I mean, maybe it's a lot of insects and stuff like that. But I just see in my head, I'd just be, oh, there's a monkey and there's jaguar.
Like, imagine doing mushrooms
A parrot?
sitting in the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
That'd be so awesome.
Then there's
Well,
a-
they'd just be on the floor. They're ready to go.
I know. That would be awesome.
Then
Looking at all those trees.
Then there's an ant that'll bite the shit out of you. What are those ants? Isn't there an ant in there?
The
There's a
Indiana
bullet-
Jones
a
4
bullet.
ants.
Bullet.
Bullet ant.
Bullet. Yeah.
Tucandeira in Portuguese. It's nasty.
Have you been
Nasty.
bitten by one?
I have.
What does it do?
and it's painful for days, right?
Yeah.
And cutter ants are everywhere. They come out at night. They have chambers that can be 20 feet below the ground where they have gardens. They grow fungus on gardens that they feed, that they eat. And then they put their dead in cemetery chambers. And we started opening up those as for our research, of course. And they draw blood, so they don't sting as much. They just bite through your skin. And all
Yeah,
sorts of
these
lovely
American ants are nothing.
Yeah, mushrooms
We
in the
have-
Amazon sounds
We
great.
have ants in Australia that will give you a nasty sting. You're just having a picnic in your.
Well, like for the people that are in the tribes there, like obviously they'd be affected by this a lot. Do they just, I guess, evolutionarily become used to those types of like bites from the insects, or like how do they deal with all of that stuff there? They're constantly in it.
They learn how to use them. I'm like the cutter ants I just mentioned, the leaf cutter ants. They open up the nest and they get the larvae. They have something called nuptial flights. Maybe this could link to the pink dolphin, but all at once, several nests around a region, the new queens, which are ready to get fertilized, they take off, right? And they've got abdomens full of eggs. And so they're incredibly full of vitamin C, but also oil and protein. And they land on the ground and you can go around picking them up. They're trying to dig down and start a new colony. But indigenous people, they eat them. They fry them, and they're amazing. And bullet ants, they can just see them, because a tree, if it has a bullet ant nest around the base, you can see the pattern of the nest. It comes right up to the bark, and so they can spot them. And Americans get bit by bullet ants. Indigenous people do not.
Right. Yeah. They're more prepared.
And then so overall, I guess
What happened, Forrest? You all right?
what's the outlook for the rainforest? Like, do you think it's doomed? Do you think it's not doomed? Like, what should we be doing? Like, I know yeah. Let's go with that.
Is everything good?
And no, not everything's good, but just kind of a general wrap up of the, we've learned everything about the rainforest, every single thing. I mean, just, what's the outlook?
Outlook is not good. The 5 years with more deforestation, the most deforestation since the year 2000 happened in the last 7 years. And things are going up. I already mentioned the Brazilian Amazon, what's coming down, now it's coming up. I think the good thing is that there's a lot of companies, a lot of governments are taking it seriously. They realize that if we don't fix the tropical deforestation issue, the chances of fixing the climate change issue are going to be much harder or much lower. And so really, this is not just for the rainforest and its species and its people. This is for the future of everyone, to get this right. Right now, it's about 10% of all carbon dioxide emissions from all human activities are coming from deforestation. And so, but like I said, I'm an optimist, and maybe chronically so and unfoundedly so, but I do think that some of the pieces are coming together. Deforestation is actually declining in Indonesia right now, which is the other biggest forest after Brazil and after the Amazon. So we'll see.
All right. And at earthinnovation.org, this is like where it sounds like there's, just from what I was reading through, it's like, it seems like there's good like ideas or strategies, at least maybe to that make more sense to deal with these problems, right? Or to come up with solutions.
Yeah. So we're very much focused on bottom up solutions, and working with, today is so polarized, right? Everyone throws rocks at each other instead of getting down and talking about solutions. If you don't agree with someone else's perspective, they become your enemy instead of working it out. And we try to, help create those tables where people can come together. So governments are sitting down with their farm sectors and the companies that are operating in their region, the indigenous people. And that's really happening and working well in some regions. And you can see all of that on our website. And we've got people in the ground in Brazil, in Peru, Colombia, and Indonesia, and Malaysia right now.
All right. Well, this is part of our podcast called Dinner Party Facts. We ask our guests to give us some fact about the topic, the Amazon rainforest, that is interesting or obscure that people might not know that they can impress people with. Got anything?
Well, I tried to come up with something that's a little bit new. And every 2 weeks, the Amazon releases an amount of water into the air through evaporation that's equivalent to all of the water in all of the lakes in the entire planet.
That one's a good one.
Every 2 weeks?
Through evaporation.
Through evaporation.
Crap.
So think of it this way: 2 million square kilometers of forest, letting go about a half a centimeter water a day. It adds up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good dinner party.
Every day is Lake Michigan. A Lake Michigan every day.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Incredible.
And not that it's easy to remember, but it's easy to say. Once you remember it, you say it, and people are like, yeah. Then you drink a sip of wine.
Pretty cool.
Well, thank you, Dr. Dan. I appreciate you being on the show. We learn a lot. I knew most of it before you came here, but that's okay. I was happy to hear it again.
I just want to say earthinnovation.org is the website. You should go visit that. And there's also a Twitter account for that. And I don't know if you have an Instagram account, but I did see a Twitter.
We have Facebook too. Yeah.
Facebook. They got it all. But go to earthinnovation.org for more information on how you can help.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Dr. Dan, for being on the podcast. If you're ever at a party and someone comes up to you and goes, the Amazon, it's only 300 square miles, go, I don't know about that, and walk away. I'm still not sure what it is. Good night, Australia.